For his entire career, Bam Adebayo has been universally recognized as the ultimate defensive cheat code. If you asked any player in the NBA who they hated being guarded by the most, Bam's name was always at the top of the list. He was the anchor of heat culture, a guy who would sacrifice his own stats to make the right rotation, grab the tough rebound, and secure the win. Nobody ever looked at him and thought, that guy is going to break Kobe Bryant's scoring record. He was supposed to be the ultimate shield, not the ultimate weapon. But on March 11, 2026, Bam Adebayo did the unthinkable. In a 150-129 victory over the Washington Wizards, the pass-first center erupted for 83 points, instantly cementing himself as the second-highest single-game scorer in the history of the NBA. The performance was so bizarre, so completely out of character for his traditional play style that it short-circuited the entire basketball community. But how did the guys who actually play the game react? Today, we are diving deep into exactly what NBA legends and current superstars really think about Bam Adebayo's historic, game-breaking 83-point masterpiece. And trust me, the reactions from his peers behind closed doors are even wilder than the box score itself. What they saw that night wasn't just a great game, it was a terrifying evolutionary leap. When the news broke that Bam dropped 31 points in the first quarter alone, most NBA players assumed it was a typo on the ESPN app. When he finished the game with 83 points, shooting 20 for 43 from the field and hitting an uncharacteristic 7 three-pointers, the league went into a complete frenzy. Active superstars couldn't believe what they were watching. LeBron James immediately took to social media, tweeting, "83? This league is officially broken. Bam is an alien." Jalen Brunson and Paul Pierce were left completely speechless, simply posting strings of mind-blown emojis. It was as if they were witnessing a glitch in the basketball matrix playing out on national television. But it was Kevin Durant who provided the most insightful reaction to Bam's offensive explosion. Durant, arguably the greatest pure scorer of this generation, didn't just look at the final point tally. He looked at the sheer physical toll it took to get there. KD pointed out that taking 43 shots from the field while constantly absorbing contact requires superhuman stamina. To do all of that, while still having to run back on defense and protect the paint like a traditional big man, is something that fundamentally changes how peers view Bam's cardiovascular conditioning. Durant essentially admitted that what Bam did requires a level of endurance that 99% of the league simply does not possess. It's the kind of gritty, exhausting performance that automatically earns you a permanent spot among the absolute elite. And when a legendary scorer like KD openly marvels at another man's stamina, you know you are dealing with a truly once-in-a-lifetime physical feat. Of course, you cannot talk about an 83-point game without addressing the massive controversy that immediately followed. As soon as the final buzzer sounded, internet trolls and traditionalists flooded the timeline to discredit the record. Why? Because Bam shot a staggering NBA record 43 free throws, making 36 of them. Critics called it foul baiting and claimed it ruined the purity of the game compared to Kobe's 81. They argued that a defensive center shouldn't be allowed to manipulate the rulebook to pass legendary scoring guards. It quickly became the most polarizing debate on sports television, completely dividing generations of basketball fans. But the players inside the NBA don't care about Twitter narratives. Giannis Antetokounmpo, a player who constantly faces a wall of defenders and takes relentless physical punishment, immediately stepped up to defend Bam. Giannis aggressively shut down the critics, stating, "Are we really complaining about how a man got to 83 points? They couldn't stop him legally, so they fouled him." Giannis completely validated Bam's performance, reminding everyone that stepping to the line 43 times while completely exhausted and still making 36 of them is a legendary display of mental toughness. For other physical big men in the league, the free throws weren't a sign of weakness. They were proof that the Wizards were utterly terrified of him. When you have a multiple-time MVP publicly defending your legacy on national television, the noise from the internet haters instantly becomes irrelevant. Giannis essentially told the world that true greatness never needs to apologize for being completely unstoppable. To truly appreciate what this 83-point game means to the legends of the sport, you have to remember how old-school centers used to talk about Bam. For years, Hall of Famers like Shaquille O'Neal would sit on the inside the NBA desk and practically beg Bam to be more aggressive. They respected his defensive IQ, but they were deeply frustrated by his passivity on offense. Shaq constantly argued that Bam was way too talented to only shoot the ball 10 or 12 times a night. The older generation wanted him to embrace a killer instinct that they felt modern centers were losing. They knew the monster was sleeping inside of him, and they were desperately waiting for someone to finally poke the bear. March 11th was the night Bam finally answered their prayers in the most violent way imaginable. He stopped looking to pass out of double teams and instead decided to absolutely destroy the rim. By completely abandoning his role-player mentality and demanding the basketball, he earned a new level of respect from the legendary big men who paved the way. He proved to the generation of Shaq and Hakeem that he doesn't just have the footwork and the defensive grit. He has the ultimate alpha dog mentality when he chooses to activate it. He silenced his harshest critics by doing exactly what they asked, but on a scale nobody ever thought possible. For the legends who built the foundation of this league in the paint, Bam didn't just play a great game. He single-handedly resurrected the lost art of the dominant big man. Shaq and Alonzo finally saw the reflection of their own ruthlessness staring back at them from the modern era. But the absolute peak of validation didn't come from a podcast, a tweet, or a post-game press conference. It came directly from the greatest basketball player to ever walk the earth. A few days after shattering the internet, Bam appeared on NBA Countdown. When the hosts asked him what his phone looked like after the game, Bam casually dropped a bombshell. He revealed that he received a personal text message from Michael Jordan himself. The entire studio went dead silent, instantly realizing the magnitude of what that simple gesture actually meant. Bam didn't read the exact message on air, but he confirmed that MJ reached out specifically to congratulate him on the milestone. In the NBA hierarchy, a text from Michael Jordan is the ultimate trump card. Jordan is notoriously protective of scoring records and rarely goes out of his way to praise modern players for offensive outbursts. The fact that the ultimate scoring guard felt compelled to privately salute a defensive-minded center for dropping 83 points tells you everything you need to know. Once Michael Jordan gives you his blessing, the debates end, the trolls are silenced, and your name is forever etched in basketball royalty. It is the ultimate mic drop that proves Bam's explosion wasn't just a fluke, but a certified, undeniable piece of NBA history. When his airness personally crowns your achievement, your legacy becomes absolutely bulletproof. The 83-point game changed everything for Bam Adebayo. He is no longer just the defensive anchor of the Miami Heat. He is a player who holds one of the most unbreakable offensive records in the modern era. He forced superstars, legendary big men, and even Michael Jordan to recognize him as a completely unique generational anomaly. The basketball world asked him to be more aggressive, and he responded by almost breaking Wilt Chamberlain's myth. We are witnessing an era where the boundaries of what a center can do are being stretched to absolute extremes. It makes you wonder what other unbreakable records are quietly waiting to be shattered in the near future. The geometry of the game has shifted, and Bam Adebayo is the architect of this new reality. What do you guys think? Does getting a cosign from Michael Jordan and Giannis Antetokounmpo make this 83-point game the most impressive performance of the decade? Or does the fact that he shot 43 free throws still bother you? Let's get a debate going in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into NBA history, make sure to drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, keep watching the courts, because in today's NBA, the impossible can happen on literally any given night. Stay obsessed with the game, and I'll see you guys on the next deep dive.